Okay, so I wanted to go over a really quick topic of pick a team and stick with it. And I know this is probably a no-brainer to a lot of people, but it's really easy to get kind of carried away in sort of like these gacha games where there's obviously a lot of different characters. Some of them you're super interested in, some of them you just want because you like the character, etc. So there's obviously a lot of times where you might be spending gems and, you know, just going for things that aren't really going to help you at all. And I definitely understand that. Like, I'm really bad to do it myself, but it's honestly so much more beneficial for you to just go for a specific, like, find out what you want from a team, figure out which units you need for it, and then focus on that team enough to where you can use it consistently for a while. So obviously the big thing here is longevity. You definitely want to pick a team that can, you know, probably last in the meta for a while. For a lot of people, this is going to be the one Escanor team. So taking them for example, you're going to want to try to go for, you know, if you can get extra copies of the one Escanor, you obviously want to go for that. Obviously his banner is already gone at this point, but you know, just for example's sake, if I was only going to go, like, if I wanted to maximize my potential for the one Escanor's team, I would want to save up my gems as much as possible. I would not want to summon on any banners that didn't really help this team at all. And then whenever his banner did come around, I would want to spend as many gems as possible to try to get as many dupes as I could for this character. I know that kind of sucks because obviously, like, I don't know, from my standpoint, I like to play with different characters in the game. It doesn't really, like, for me, it's not fun to play as just one specific team, but it would definitely benefit me more in the long run, and I would be more consistent in PvP if I had one team that I focused all of my resources into instead of spreading all of my resources out between a whole lot of characters, because then it spreads too thin, and then I don't have, like, none of my characters, none of my teams per se, are really built like to their full potential because I just don't have the resources to spread between so many characters. So if I go to Escanor, I have focused on Escanor a lot, honestly. I don't even really use Escanor a whole lot in the current meta and everything like that. I honestly just, I kind of just prefer Assault Mode Meliodas at this point. So I've kind of started messing with his team more, but the problem with that one is a lot of the characters in the Assault Mode Meliodas team really aren't worth investing into for the long run, because although I bought a bunch of cosmetics for Droll, and I bought a couple of cosmetics for Melascula, and I made sure to get the rest of the cosmetics that I needed for Zeldris. But the problem with that is at this point, Zeldris will probably get replaced with the new Festival Zeldris when he comes out, depending. A lot of people have said that he's not like the best character in the world or anything like that for the team, so it's a maybe on that kind of so far. But he's going to have his own cosmetics. They're not going to carry over from the old Zeldrises, so that's a whole new character that I have to buy cosmetics for and, you know, put cosmetic upgrades into and try to get dupes for, etc. Whereas the old Zeldris is he's a coin shop unit. I can get extra dupes for him and stuff like that out of the coin shop, which is really nice. But yeah, just like, for example, the Assault Mode Meliodas team, a lot of those characters aren't going to be really that useful on other specific teams, whereas the characters that you're using on the one Escanor's team, mainly it's going to consist of Goddess Liz, Gother. Some people use the green small tank Deanne, which she's not a bad character to invest into, I guess, if you really want to use that sort of team comp for other characters, because, you know, she can take a couple of hits and stuff like that at the beginning of the match. That would be pretty helpful, not just for the one Escanor. So you want to try to invest into characters that, you know, you can get more use out of than just this character, if possible. Obviously, like with the one with the Assault Mode Meliodas team, because of the way that character works, there's going to be new demon characters and commandment characters that come out in the future that he will be able to play off of, and the meta for his team is going to change around so much that it might not be the most consistent team to actually invest into. Whereas the one Escanor, so far, it's literally just been, you know, the same lineup. It's been Gother, Goddess Liz, and then, you know, people either use Lost Vein in the back or, you know, some other character. So it's up to you to determine, like, what you want the team to be and then to maximize the potential of it. So I've already got all of these outfits. I've got the UR outfits all maxed out on cosmetics. I made sure to go ahead and buy the ones that I needed. Right now is a perfect time to get extra cosmetics for characters that you need. I literally just a few minutes ago ended up buying a couple of extra cosmetics for Goddess Liz, because she's a really good universal support. You can use her on pretty much any team, so I don't feel like that is a wasted investment. I even made sure whenever this event first started with the discount Sacred Treasure Shop, I made sure to grab a couple of Gother cosmetics that I was missing, because honestly, what team do you play on nowadays that doesn't have Gother on it besides the Assault Mode Meliodas team? Like, Gother is just a universal support that everybody uses, so it's not a bad idea to invest in cosmetics for him. So if I go over, I'm currently working on this one specific weapon. I haven't completely got it maxed out yet, this is actually his SSR weapon. You unlock this from his affection bonus, if I'm not mistaken. If I really wanted to be super efficient, I guess, and I had the extra gems for it, I would just buy the pan and then upgrade that. But I had some extra cosmetics, or the cosmetic upgrades laying around, so I just went ahead and got this to UR, and that saved me a couple of gems and everything like that, which is kind of nice. I've already got all of these maxed out as well. I'm missing one headpiece that I don't have completely maxed out, but I did get the base one to UR, which is kind of nice. It's going to help out in CC and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately, because I wanted to summon on the Assault Mode Meliodas banner as well as the one Escanor banner, I only have 1/6 on Escanor, which does end up biting me pretty hard, because there are a lot better teams. Like, I go against people in ungeared that use CC food and stuff like that, and they've got like 157k CC and stuff like that, like really high CC and ungeared, which I guess it'll go up even more now that we're gonna end up getting Super Awakening 5, and level 90 should be coming within the next like few months or so for us. I know JP and Korea are just now getting that stuff pretty soon, but yeah, 157 on on global is pretty high. So fighting those people, I know that they have multiple dupes for their characters. I know that they have maxed out cosmetics. I know that they have all of their cosmetics, UR and everything like that they need. And that's really where it comes into play. You want to make sure that you have all of this stuff for the team that you're planning on using. The Escanor team is so consistent. Like, he's just such a good character in general, that investing into the characters that you need for that team, and just using that team until he finally drops out of the meta, which is not going to be anytime soon, I'm assuming, unless just they end up making a new set of characters that are just really good direct counters for him, which he can do such good damage on turn 1 that it's going to be really hard to outmatch him. It's going to be like, it would be really surprising for them to add a character that would destroy him like turn 1. It's unheard of. Plus, with most people running Goddess Liz, you have to kill him twice. So obviously, it's all situational. Depends on what characters come out in the future. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Assault Mode Meliodas came out. He's a green unit. Sure, he can beat the one Escanor, but the one Escanor has a really good potential to beat him as well. Like, I would say that they're a pretty decent like 50-50. As far as like the matches that I've kind of played, I play more on the Assault Mode Meliodas side of things, and I can beat I can beat the one Escanor teams. And if the RNG doesn't roll right or something like that happens, or they just play it like way too smart, and they play around the fact that Assault Mode's passive, works the way it does, they can end up beating me, and it just like it's a real back and forth. It just all depends on RNG of the PvP and everything like that. So honestly, like, that didn't stop him. The Merlin team is pretty decent. Like, it's kind of nice that she can't be like completely one-shotted by him, but I don't know. I think in geared PvP, she's going to be a lot better for that, and she may be able to beat him in geared PvP. But the thing is, his CC is really high, and if you've got all of these other characters, maxed out like you should, if you're planning on using the team consistently for like longevity's sake, and you're planning on using it for a while, your CC is going to be higher than theirs, because Merlin just doesn't have as much CC as Escanor does. That's just how it is. Especially like in geared PvP, if you were going to run Escanor with like HP set or whatever. Like, if I went over to him, my gear is attack crit damage, but if I were to go HP crit damage, my CC would be crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure Nagato uses HP crit damage. He has a set of both, but when he uses his HP crit damage, I know you can't see because of my webcam right now, but my combat class is 51,062 at the moment, which seems kind of low. but it's because I don't have a whole lot of dupes for the character, and because if I was running HP food, it would probably go up a couple of thousand, to be honest. Like, it's that big. So it just depends on what kind of gear you run. In ungeared specifically, which is kind of what I tried to play more, because I'm not really into the whole geared PvP. I just feel like there's so much like that can happen in geared PvP. If I swap over to the one Escanor team, which I have a lot of my Gother cosmetics and stuff like that maxed out at this point, which is really nice. I've just been kind of working on units that can be consistent with other teams. So I try to do that as much as possible for whatever's sake. I'm just going to put the regular team that I see most people using. So let's just put the associations on here really quickly. Because associated units is also a really big thing. You want to make sure that you're using some of the best associated units that you can. But obviously you might not be able to all the time. Like, I mean, there's just variables. But there, I have 135k CC with this team, although like I got really lucky on the one Escanor's banner and I pulled a bunch of extra copies of Lost Vein. My Lost Vein's 6/6 at this point, which I think is I never thought I would get him to that point. It's just luck of the draw, really. My Liz is 3/6. This Gother is 1/6 because he's a seasonal unit and he's not really been on any other banners that I've really summoned on, so that's really unfortunate. If I really wanted to, I could probably run Red Gother. Like, so my CC's 135 with Green Gother. If I swap to Red Gother, it gives me an extra 2k CC, and that's just because of the dupes, whereas this Red Gother is 6/6. So obviously Green Gother is better for the team comp because, you know, it's, you know, his passive is just going to do that much more. But if I really wanted to push CC, I could use Red Gother and get a lot more out of it. And then if I use CC food, it's going to bring me up quite a bit, which there are like titles and stuff like that that bring up your CC food and everything like that. Like, it brings up the effect of your CC food. So be sure you're like getting that if you don't already have it. But 152k CC with CC food, that's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, 150k in general is pretty hard to hit with most teams. And like I said, there are people that I go against that have like 157k. If I swap to Red Gother here, and I had more dupes for the other characters that I have, like if I had more dupes on Escanor, that's an extra 400 CC per dupe. Plus the CC food would amplify it even more. My Goddess Liz is only 3/6, so if I got her to, you know, 6/6, which all of that is completely luck. Obviously, you know, not everybody's going to be able to just max out their characters. It's a whaler's game at that point. Like, there's only so much you can do as a regular player to get your characters up. But, you know, do what you can. Grab, you know, work on their cosmetics. Get their cosmetics while they're on sale if you can. It's a really big thing. Cosmetics, as much as I hate that cosmetics play into ungeared, cosmetics are a huge deal, and like, you honestly need them for most of the characters. It's just really important. I kind of wish cosmetics didn't play into it, because I think ungeared should be more of like a really like baseline sort of experience where you just play with the characters themselves, honestly, and you don't have to worry about a whole lot of factors. But ungeared, for some reason in this game, relies on, you know, their gear, their dupes, etc. There's just a lot of extra stuff that goes into it that I feel like it shouldn't, but that's just not really, like, that's a discussion for another video. But yeah, make sure that you're focusing on what you need to focus on. Obviously, there's new characters that come out all the time. The ReZero collab is probably coming up pretty soon, and unless you're really planning on using the Merlin team, or just the unknown team in general, like you just want to use those units, you probably don't even really need to summon on it. If you want the characters because they're limited time characters, and maybe you like ReZero, you like the characters, whatever the case may be, you know, feel free, you know, go for it. Obviously, being the most efficient in this game and having fun with the game are two completely separate things. I love summoning for new characters because I want new characters. I want to be able to play with different kinds of characters and stuff like that. That's just the fun of the game for me. But if I was playing efficiently, I wouldn't summon on 99% of these banners. I would be summoning on the one banners that, like, the specific banners that I needed to make my team the best it could be. If I wanted to make sure that my Assault Mode Meliodas team was as good as it could be, I would have went absolutely crazy and summoned every single diamond I had on the Assault Mode Meliodas banner. Which at the time we didn't know that the Zeldris banner was coming. At this point, if you skip the Meliodas banner, the Zeldris banner is probably looking pretty good for you, if you want to use that team anyway. But yeah, there's obviously the meta is always changing. There's obviously going to be new characters that come out that might benefit a team more in the future, and that's just kind of what you have to look out for. If that unit that's coming out is good for you and your team, you know, you should probably summon for it. If not, you know, really weigh your options, determine whether or not it's actually going to help you and benefit you as far as your actual team in PvP and stuff like that goes, to summon for that character. Like the Mark II Valenti banner came out, and I was like, wow, I really love the design of that new Mark II Valenti. She's super cool as a character. I love it. Like, I even when they first showed it off, I fell in love with that Mark II Valenti design. It was so super cool. I love it a lot. I summoned for it. I got her. I used her. Kind of lackluster. I could definitely max her out, and if you did max her out and you had a really good team built around her, she could be a huge threat in PvP. But the problem is there's just much better options out there that are just easier to use and a lot more efficient to summon for and stuff like that, because people want to summon on festival banners. Right now, since Goddess Liz's banner has come out, Goddess Liz has been on every single festival banner except for the Assault Mode Meliodas banner. I think she's not going to be on the Zeldris banner as well, but you know, she's a huge festival unit. She's a really important festival unit because she's a universal support, and I think you should be able to get dupes of her. Hopefully, you know, it's all RNG based, but you have the best chance of pulling dupes for her specifically, because I don't think they've removed her from any of the festival banners so far, besides Holy War Festival. So I don't know. It really just all depends. Pick a team that you really want. I just use the Escanor team because it's, you know, a one that a lot of people end up using. I obviously like the Assault Mode Meliodas banner a little bit more, or not the banner, but the Assault Mode Meliodas team. I think it's a little bit more fun to play for me personally. So I don't know. I'll have to see what I end up doing for the Zeldris banner and stuff like that, but it's a lot of commitment. You have to buy a lot of cosmetics. You have to max out. You have to play a lot of Hell Demons, and you know, hope that events give you, you know, cosmetic upgrades, or God forbid you have to buy cosmetic upgrades, which I don't recommend. If it's something you can farm in the game, I just recommend just farming it. It's a lot more fun that way for me personally. I get a lot more play time in the game. Plus you get other materials and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I don't know what else to tell you. This was kind of just like an interesting video concept that I kind of like wanted to kind of touch on, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into a team. Make sure that you're maxing out the one that you really want to use the most, so that way you can get the most out of it and use it for as long as you can, so that way you don't have to invest in a whole bunch of other stuff, and you can save your gems while you're using that team for the next big upcoming thing that you want to use. So that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.